Hello friends, under this part of school fees management system, we will start academic standard module. And in this part, we will learn how to display dynamic academic standard data in jQuery DataTables with server-side processing of data by using PHP script with MySQL database. In this tutorial, we will use jQuery DataTables with feature like searching, pagination and many other features. In previous part, we have make feature like how to enable or disable academic year data under this fees management system. If you have still not seen that video tutorial, so please watch that part. Now let's start discussing this part. So this academic standard table in which we will store school academic standard data. And in this table, we have table column like academic standard ID, academic standard name, academic standard division, academic standard status, academic standard added on, and academic standard updated on table column. So we will store school academic standard data under this table, and we will fetch data from this table and display under jQuery DataTable. Now we have go to working folder, and here first we want to add academic standard page link under admin area. So for this, we have open header.php file, and under this file, here we have create an anchor tag. And here we have to write class attribute is equal to navigation link. And in href attribute is equal to academic standard.php file, and in anchor text we have to write academic standard. So by click on this link, admin can access academic standard data. Now here in the browser, first we have to refresh this web page, and after this, here we can see that academic standard link has been appear at left side menu. So admin can access academic standard management module by click on this link. Now we want to proceed for load academic standard data in jQuery DataTables. So we have go to academic standard.php file, and under this file, first we want to include database connection file. So here we have to write include statement with database connection.php file. After this, we want to set like this page must be accessed by user only after login into system. So here we have to write if statement, and under condition we have to write not operator with is login function. So this function will check requested user is login or not. If user is not login into system, then it will execute if block of code. And under this block, we have to write header function with location set to login.php file. So it will redirect web page to login.php file, and after this, we want to check login user is admin or not. This is because only admin can able to access this web page. So for this, here we have to write if statement, and under condition, we have to write not operator with is master user function. So this function will check that login user is master user or not. If login user is not admin, then it will execute if block of code. And here, we have to write header function with location set to index.php file, so it will redirect to index page. Next we want to include header.php file, so here we have to write include statement with header.php file. And same way, we want to include footer.php file, so for this, here we have to write include statement with footer.php file. After this, between this, we have paste this HTML code, which will make blank academic standard management page, and now we have to check output in the browser. So here, we have click on academic standard link, and here we can see that blank page has been loaded on the web page. That means, here our academic standard management template is ready, and now we want to load academic standard data under jQuery DataTables. So for this, here we have to create one HTML table with ID attribute is equal to academic standard data. Under this table, we have to create one table head tag, and between this tag, we have to create one table row tag. And under this tag, we have to create 4 table header tag with text like standard, name, division, status and action. Now for load data in jQuery DataTable, so for this we have go to jQuery code part, and here we have to write DataTable variable is equal to $ with table ID, academic standard data. With DataTable method, so this method will initialize jQuery DataTable plugin. And under this method, first we have to write first option processing, which has been set to true. So this option will enable the display of a processing indicator when the table data is being processed. In second option, we have to write server-side option, which has been set to true. So this option will switch client-side processing to server-side processing of data. In third option, we have to write order option, which has been set to blank array, so this option will enable table column ordering. Lastly, we have to write Ajax option, and by using this option, we can send Ajax request to server. Now under this first, we have to write first option URL set to action.php, so here it will send Ajax request to this page. In second option, we have to write type, which has been set to post method, so here it will use post method for send data to server. And in third option, we have to write data, and in value we have to write action variable with value like fetch academic standard, so this data will be sent with Ajax request. So here our jQuery code is ready. Now we have goes to action.php file. And under this file, here we have to write if statement, and under condition, we have to write $post action variable value is equal to fetch academic standard, so if this condition true, then it will execute if block of code, and under this block we have to write $query variable is equal to select query like select star from academic standard table. After this, we have to write if statement, and under condition, we have to write is set function. And under this function, we have to write $post search value variable, so if this variable value is set, then it will execute if block of code. And under this block, we have to write $query variable, and under this variable, we have append query like, where academic standard name like percentage with $post search value variable with percentage sign. And this same query, we have to write for other table column like academic standard division. After defining search condition, now we have to write if statement, and in condition, we have to write is set function, and under this function, we have to write $post order variable. So this condition will check if this variable value has been set, then it will execute this if block of code, otherwise it will execute else block. Suppose $post order variable value is set, then it will execute if block of code. And under this, we have to write $query variable, and in this variable, we have append query like order by $columns variable with $post order 0 column variable, and $post order 0 direction variable. But suppose $post order variable value is not set, then it will execute else block of code, and under this block we have to write $query variable, and in this variable, we have to append query like order by academic standard ID table column in descending order. Now we have to define $query1 variable is equal to blank value, and in this variable, we will store query with fetch limit data condition. Now below this, we have to write if statement, and under condition, we have to write $post length variable value is not equal to -1. So this condition will check if $post length variable value is not equal to -1, then it will execute if block of code. So under this block, we have to write $query1 variable is equal to limit $post start variable comma $post length variable. Here this both variable value has been sent by jQuery DataTables plugin with the Ajax request. Here we have store select query in two different variable, so here from $query variable, we will get number of filter data. And from combination of both query, we will make complete query for fetch data from academic standard table. First we want to execute only $query variable query, so we can get number of filter records. So for this here, we have to write $statement variable is equal to $connect variable with prepare method. And under this method, we have to write $query variable, so it will make query for execution. Then after, we want to execute this query, so here we have to write $statement variable with execute method, so it will execute $query variable query. Now we want to get number of filter data, so for this here, we have to write $filtered row variable is equal to $statement variable with row count method, so this method will return number of row affected after query execution. Now we want to execute complete query, so here we have to write $result variable is equal to $connect variable with query method. And under this method, we have to write $query variable $query1 variable, so here, we have merged both query. And this query method will execute combined query, and return query execution result, which has been stored under this $result variable. Now we have to write $data variable is equal to blank array. And under this variable, we will store $result variable data one by one. Now below this, we have to write for each loop, and under condition, we have to write $result variable is $row variable, and by using this loop, we can fetch data from $result variable. Now under this for each loop, first we have to create one $subarray variable is equal to blank array. In this variable, we will store data, which it will be get from $row variable. Now below this, we have to write $status variable is equal to blank value, and under this variable, we will store school academic standard status data. Now for check academic standard data status, so here we have to write if statement, and under condition, we have to write $row academic standard status variable is equal to enable, so if this condition true, then it will execute if block of code. And under this block, we have to write $status variable is equal to enable. But suppose above condition false, then it will execute else block of code, and here we have to write $status variable is equal to disable. Now we want to store data under this $subarray variable, so here we want to store academic standard name column data, so here we have to write $subarray variable is equal to $row academic standard name variable. After this, we have to write $subarray variable is equal to $row academic standard division variable. So here, we have stored academic standard division table column data in $subarray variable. After this, we have to write $subarray variable is equal to $status variable, so here we have stored status data. Next we want to store action button data, but we will create edit and delete button in upcoming part. So for this, here we have to write $subarray variable is equal to blank value. So here, we have store all required academic standard table data in $subarray variable. Now we have to write $data variable is equal to $subarray variable. So here we have stored all subarray variable data into this $data variable. Now we want to get total number of rows from academic standard table, so here, we have to make get total academic standard records function. With $connect variable as argument, so this function will return total number of rows from academic standard table. Now under this function, we have to write $query variable is equal to select star from academic standard table. And below this, we have to write $statement variable is equal to $connect variable with prepare method. And under this method, we have to write $query variable, so it will make query for execution. Now for execute query, so here, we have to write $statement variable with execute method, so this method will execute this query. Lastly, we have to write return statement with $statement variable with row count method, so this method will return number of rows from academic standard table. Now here we have to write $output variable is equal to an array. And in array first key, we have to write draw, and in value, we have to write $post draw variable. In second key, we have to write records total, and in value, we have to write get total academic standard records function with $connect variable as argument. In third key, we have to write records filtered, and in value, we have to write $filtered row variable, in which we have store number of filter rows data. And in last key, we have to write data, and in value, we have to write $data variable, in which we have store academic standard table data in an array format. So this way, we have store all required data in $output variable for load academic standard data under jQuery DataTable. Now we want to send this data to Ajax request in JSON format, so here, we have to write echo statement with JSON encode function. And under this function, we have to write $output variable. So this function will convert this data into JSON string. So here, our code is ready for load data in jQuery DataTable plugin with server-side processing of data. So now we have to check output in the browser. Friends, here first we have to refresh web page, and here we can see that academic standard table data has been loaded in jQuery DataTable plugin. And here we can do searching of MySQL academic standard table data, and here we can see that pagination is also automatic made without writing of any line of code. And here we can also do sorting of data without refresh of web page. So here, under this part, we have learned how to fetch data from MySQL table and load in jQuery DataTables by using PHP script. In next part, we will learn how to add new academic standard data under the school fees management system by using PHP script. So we will be meet in next part, and lastly thank you for watching this video, and do not forget to subscribe our channel.